Okay, so um, have you ever felt like you're putting absolutely everything you have into life? You know, working hard, chasing goals,
Mhm.
maybe even moving mountains,
Oh, definitely.
but it still feels like life is just kind of happening to you.
Yeah, like you're stuck somehow. Like
Yeah.
you're watching other people just sail past and you're thinking, what am I doing wrong?
Exactly, like you're spinning your wheels.
That feeling is, well, it's actually incredibly common, that sense that all the effort isn't quite landing,
Yeah.
not giving you the results you actually want deep down.
Right. And that feeling that disconnect, that's where we're starting our deep dive today.
Mm-hmm.
We're exploring some really potent source material. It's excerpts from the book Chica, Why Not? How to Live with Intention and Manifest a Life That Loves You Back by Sandra Hinojosa Ludwig.
Yeah, it's a great title. And our mission here is really to unpack the core ideas, the framework Sandra shares, which comes from her own pretty intense journey.
We want to understand how you can shift from feeling kind of powerless, like life's just buffeting you around,
Right.
to actively, intentionally creating a life that feels good, a life that feels like it genuinely loves you back.
And the book itself comes from Hay House. They publish a lot in the self-help and spirituality space. Think Louise Hay, Dr. Wayne W. Dyer.
Right, big names.
Mhm.
And Sandra actually mentions that the law of attraction teachings, especially from Esther and Jerry Hicks, were foundational for her own learning.
So we're definitely looking at ideas rooted in how our inner world, our thoughts and feelings shape our outer reality.
Okay, so let's dive into the problem she identifies first. This idea of living an unintended life.
Yeah, this really gets to that feeling we were just talking about. Putting in all the work,
Hmm.
chasing the dreams, but feeling like you're just, well, spinning your wheels,
Yeah.
as she puts it. Not really getting ahead, while maybe others seem to be. It's more than frustrating. It can be really draining.
So exhausting. And for her, there was this really sharp turning point. She was 32, doing all the things she thought she should be doing, felt totally worn out. And her friend Laura just says this really blunt thing. Sandra, I feel like you gave up on life.
Wow. Yeah, that must have landed hard.
Especially when she felt like she was trying so hard, like the opposite of giving up.
Exactly. And she reflects on how her background kind of set the stage for this. Growing up in Mexico, feeling this deep sense of not enough.
Hmm.
And she kept trying to fix that feeling by changing the externals, reinventing herself, moving cities, even countries, always looking for that fresh start.
And the book is really candid about some incredibly tough personal stuff that fed into this feeling, this unintended life.
Oh, absolutely. She shares witnessing domestic violence as a child, her father hitting her mother, and then the kids too.
That's just awful.
It is. And then, tragically, years later, she finds herself in her own emotionally abusive situation where her boyfriend physically pins her against a wall, screaming at her.
Oh,
And she saw this pattern, she kept trying to physically run away, change her location, but she kept ending up in similar painful dynamics. She even felt like she was walking in her mother's footsteps, despite being this, smart professional woman.
So it wasn't about lack of effort or not wanting things to be different.
No.
It was this gut punch realization that she just didn't know how to do life differently. She was stuck.
Exactly. Repeating patterns in relationships, career, money. Changing the scenery didn't change the inner landscape. She hadn't given up, but she didn't know how to get what she truly wanted. She lacked the inner toolkit.
But that realization, as painful as it clearly was, that became the spark, didn't it?
It really did. The catalyst. She calls it a quest for understanding how life worked.
Right.
She started asking, okay, what are the people who are creating lives they love doing differently? There has to be another way.
And on this quest, she started learning something crucial, especially through her law of attraction studies.
Yeah, this idea that the universe or life or whatever you want to call it actually responds. It sends clues, support when you get clear on what you want and really focus your energy there.
And part of this journey, importantly, involved starting therapy. She notes that was key for healing those deeper wounds that were driving the patterns.
Absolutely. And through all this, she developed this core belief that there's immense power within each of us. Power to, as she says, move mountains, to thrive, not just survive.
And a huge part of accessing that power is trust, right? Trusting yourself, trusting the process, trusting the universe.
Yes. She gives this fantastic example from early on getting into grad school in the U.S. She didn't have perfect grades. Her English wasn't perfect. She definitely didn't have the money.
That sounds like a massive leap of faith. How did she manage that without the obvious resources lined up.
She just focused on the very next step she could take, putting one foot in front of the other, studying for the tests, applying, and just trusting that if it was meant to be, the way would appear, the funding would show up, and it did. When she got accepted but had no idea how to pay, people just sort of appeared.
Wow.
Yeah, with information about research assistant jobs, she connected with a professor who happened to have funding. It all came together.
It's like the trust opened the door for the solutions to find her.
Exactly. Which leads right into the core concept that became so central for her, the law of attraction, specifically through Abraham Hicks's teachings.
Yeah.
She talks about how understanding energy and vibration wasn't just like an intellectual exercise.
Right.
It fundamentally shifted how she engaged with life. The core idea being, your thoughts and feelings create your reality. So focusing on what you want and cultivating the feeling of having it helps align your energy, your vibration, making you a match for it.
Okay, so she's got this understanding of her past pattern. She's on this quest. She's grasped these principles of energy and attraction. How does she then build this intentional life?
Yeah.
She lays out a framework, right? Not rigid steps, but more like interconnected practices.
Exactly. Think of them maybe as different muscles you need to develop or lenses to look through. They all work together. And the first one is clarity. Define your bliss.
Getting really specific. It's not just knowing what you want, but she really emphasizes the why. What's the feeling behind the desire?
Yes, the why is the fuel. And she's careful to help you differentiate between authentic desires and, desires that are actually rooted in fear.
How do you tell the difference?
Authentic desires, she says, they come from love. They feel genuinely good to think about. You use words like and love.
Okay.
Whereas the fear-based ones often come with words like should, must, need. Or if the thought of not getting it feels like your worst nightmare, that's a clue.
Ah, right. Or wanting something just to impress your family or prove the haters wrong or just to please someone else.
Exactly. She argues that when you're living for others' approval, you lose touch with your own power to create the life you actually want.
She has that great example about manifesting her dream home. She visualized details like the yellow walls. But her real focus wasn't just the house itself. It was the feeling she wanted. Peace, safety, belonging. That was the why.
That emotional anchor is so key, and she suggests practical exercises for this, like writing a future biography or charting your life now. You mentioned the why exercise.
Yeah, what are those about?
Well, the why exercise is basically asking yourself, why do I want this? Over and over, digging down to the core feeling. The bubble exercise helps you map out different life areas to see where you feel aligned with your bliss and where you don't. They help you get that crystal clear picture.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
So once you got that clarity, that what and why, the second practice kicks in, collaboration and manifestation, aligning your energy.
Right. This connects back to that law of attraction piece. You've put your clear order in, and now the universe is like your concierge working behind the scenes. Your job. Become an energetic match for what you've asked for.
And how do you do that practically?
Since what you desire generally feels good, has that high vibration, your main task is to feel good as often as possible. Those positive feelings are like a signal flare.
So it's not about pretending problems don't exist.
No, not at all. It's a conscious choice to manage your emotional state. And Sandra got really practical about this. She actively avoided negativity, turning off the news, skipping scary movies, disengaging from drama and gossip.
Protecting her energy.
Fiercely, being really picky about who she spent time with, what she consumed, focusing on what was good in her life, and deliberately doing things that made her heart sing, dancing, time with loved ones, making chores fun.
And a big part of this collaboration is letting go of control, isn't it? Trusting the universe to handle the specifics.
Exactly. You focus on the why, that feeling state, and you release the need to dictate the how, when, where, or who. That opens the door for things to show up in ways you couldn't have planned.
Her story about getting the promotion and then that job in Canada really illustrates this. Years of hard work wasn't enough for the promotion.
Right. It stalled.
But when she shifted her energy, focused on feeling successful, protected her emotional space, suddenly opportunities popped up. The Thailand project, other roles.
And finally, the promotion. And then later, after her son was born, her why changed. She wanted to be present for her family, less travel, stay in Canada, but still have meaningful work.
A tall order.
You'd think. But she focused on the feeling of that life, and bam, a job materialized that met all those criteria, a perfect fit she hadn't even conceived of.
So it's intention, feeling alignment, and then trust. She mentions an exercise called juicing.
Yeah, that's about really savoring the feeling of the desire as if it's already real. Living in that feeling state now.
Okay, cool. What's the third practice?
This one's crucial. Commitment. Taking inspired action. Because manifesting isn't just sitting around thinking positive thoughts.
Right, you actually have to do things.
Yes, but it's a specific kind of action. Inspired action.
What makes it inspired versus just action?
She learned from her teachers that inspired action feels different. It feels like an idea that's kind of breathed into you, like the natural next step. It might feel a little scary or daunting, but it also feels right, manageable.
Okay.
It often brings a sense of peace, even excitement. It comes from joy and intuition, not from fear or trying to force things.
That story about becoming an Olympic torchbearer is such a good example.
Isn't it great?
She had the desire honoring the past, these athletes she admired. Tried the easy way, the company raffle, and lost.
Could have stopped there, felt disappointed and given up.
But she didn't. She saw the attempt itself, the raffle, as a sign she was getting closer. Just that specific path wasn't it.
Exactly. Recognizing it's not that way, it's not possible. That reframing sparked curiosity. It inspired her to look for other ways.
Which led her to find the open contests, fill out the forms.
Right. And even missing a deadline but getting an extension, she saw that as the universe smoothing the path because she was taking that inspired action.
It feels guided, not forced.
Totally. And she talks about other ways to find inspired action. Staying open to little nudges from conversations or things you read, looking at role models.
Like that astronaut, Jose M. Hernandez, applied 11 times.
Yeah. Learning from how others succeeded, building a supportive community, people who get your vision and cheer you on, listening to your intuition in quiet moments, and getting curious about what blocks you.
She mentions benchmarking, too.
Looking at the steps others took to achieve similar goals, not to copy exactly, but for ideas, for potential inspired actions for you.
And she emphasizes sticking with it, right? Perseverance.
Absolutely. Keep moving, she says. See setbacks as data. Okay, not that way. And patience. Big dreams take time to unfold.
Okay, so clarity, collaboration, commitment through inspired action.
Yeah.
What's the fourth practice?
This one turns the focus inward again. Curiosity, understanding fear and its many disguises.
Fear. The big one.
The big one. Sandra argues fear isn't innate. It's learned, often way back in childhood. And it creates these limiting stories we tell ourselves. I'm not worthy. I'm not lovable. People can't be trusted.
And those stories then run the show, right? Driving our reactions, keeping us in that unintended life.
Exactly. And fear is sneaky. It doesn't always show up waving a flag saying, I'm fear.
How does it disguise itself?
Oh, lots of ways. Insecurity, feeling superior to others, laziness or procrastination, making excuses, that whole yeah, but thing, anger, people-pleasing. Often, these are just masks for deeper fears.
She tells that really powerful story about the barbecue with her boyfriend, Finnegan.
Yeah, that's pivotal. She shows up late, phone's dead, and instantly falls into this old script, feeling like a victim, expecting to be hurt or rejected.
And acting out in a way that makes everyone uncomfortable.
Right. But Finnegan's response completely throws her. He says something like, neither I nor my friends would ever hurt you on purpose.
And that just stopped her in her tracks.
Totally. It sparked this intense curiosity. Why was her default assumption that she would be hurt? It started this whole process of unraveling old wounds, patterns rooted in feeling unworthy of love, afraid of being alone.
So curiosity becomes the tool to challenge those fear-based stories.
Exactly. It helps you pause, step back, and question the narrative, like that funny childhood belief she had about stretching after eating, making your guts explode.
Right. Clearly irrational, but fear feels real.
It does. So she uses exercises like facts versus stories, separating the objective situation from the fearful interpretation your mind adds.
Okay, so you're using curiosity to face the fear.
Yeah.
That sounds hard.
Yeah.
Which maybe leads to the next practice.
It does, perfectly. The fifth practice is essential. Compassion. Be gentle with yourself.
Because facing this stuff isn't easy.
Not at all. And this practice specifically addresses what she calls the sticky place.
Sticky place.
Yeah, that area of life, maybe it's weight, money, relationships, self-worth, where you feel constantly stuck, like you're trying to climb this muddy, slippery hill and keep sliding back down.
Yeah.
And she's incredibly open about her own sticky place being food and her weight.
So open. A struggle that started way back in kindergarten when she was mocked. She talks about a lifetime of dieting, regaining, and just constant self-shaming.
That sounds exhausting.
Totally.
Yeah.
But her big shift came around 2016. She decided to stop pushing and blaming and instead try, well, self-love and support. using curiosity within this sticky place.
So asking why food was her go-to.
Exactly. Discovering how she used it to numb out, to procrastinate, even as a kind of distorted way to show love or receive comfort.
And she also shares her lipedema diagnosis around that time, right? Which adds another layer.
Yes, and that's important. It's a physical condition affecting fat distribution that isn't just about diet and exercise. It highlights that sometimes there are real physical factors, but even then, compassion and acceptance are the way through, not just brute force willpower.
So what does compassion look like in practice, especially in that sticky place? It starts with creating safety internally and externally to even look at the sticky place without judgment. It means learning to tell a difference between supporting actions that align with your well-being
Right.
and indulging actions that give temporary relief but usually lead to shame later.
It's also about allowing the feelings, isn't it? Like grief for the pain this struggle has caused.
Yes. Allowing yourself to feel it all, crying, accepting where you are right now, celebrating tiny wins, being incredibly patient.
These are all acts of compassion.
They are, and seeking help is too. Professional help, physical, emotional, energetic, building your support team. That's deep self-compassion. She uses this lovely analogy of climbing a steep hill in England to see lavender fields.
Yeah.
Sometimes the path you avoid because it looks hardest, the sticky place, is the very path that, if you navigate it with compassion, leads to unexpected beauty and reward. She mentions things like a self-love and compassion practice could be as simple as kind self-talk.
That makes sense. Okay, so we have clarity, collaboration, commitment, curiosity, compassion. What's the final piece?
The sixth practice is continuity, staying connected and witnessing.
Because this isn't a do it once and you're fixed kind of thing.
Definitely not. Life happens. Setbacks happen. Sandra shares her own experience of moving, getting busy, and drifting away from these practices, feeling lost and desperate again, even though she knew the tools.
What helped her reconnect?
Her therapist, Elizabeth, said something that became a mantra. Sandra, do not let it get this bad again. It was a reminder to pause, check in, use the tools before things spiraled.
So continuity is about maintenance, staying vigilant.
Less vigilant, more connected. It's based on the core idea that you can't always control what happens out there, but you always control your response. And your power lies in that response.
Okay.
But choosing your response intentionally requires being connected to your authentic self, not run by fear or what others think.
So continuity is the practice of constantly, gently checking in with yourself.
Yes. Witnessing your feelings, even the small, uncomfortable ones. They're like early warning signals that you might be slipping into old patterns or disconnecting from yourself.
And as you witness yourself with that curiosity and compassion we talked about,
You start to become your own source of safety, your own source of attention. You depend less on external validation or comfort, and that inner connection makes it easier to hear those whispers from the universe again, that inspired guidance.
she also talks about behavioral tells, right? Like if you ignore the feelings.
Yeah, using food to numb, zoning out with TV, endless scrolling, those actions become clues that fear might be taking the wheel again. She suggests things like setting alarms to just witness what you're feeling or charting your tells so you recognize them sooner.
It's all about being present for your own life, really.
Exactly. Choosing the next best step, honestly and authentically, no matter what's going on around you.
Wow. Okay, so bringing it all together, these 6 practices: clarity on desires, collaboration with the universe through energy alignment, commitment to inspired action, curiosity about fear, compassion for yourself, and continuity through witnessing. That's the path she lays out.
That's the dynamic framework for moving from that unintended life to an intentional created one. And her core message, especially in that love letter at the end of the book, is so powerful.
What does she say?
Chica, estás lista? Girl, you are ready.
I like that.
You have the knowledge. You have the power within you right now. You are the author of your story. Don't give that pen away.
It really reframes everything. The potential transformation, moving from feeling like life just happens to you
Yeah, pushed around by things.
to actively co-creating a life that feels like it fits, like it nourishes you, like it loves you back, is profound.
It really is. It's a beautiful reminder, like she says, of your inherent worthiness, your capacity to shine your own unique light.
So for everyone listening, thinking about this